Hi guys, it's Mrs. Dietrich. How you doing? This is lesson 8.3. I was hopeful that you had a chance to look at that little video that I posted about area of a circle and how you could break it up into little pie sections and rearrange the pie sections into a rectangle. And we know the area of a rectangle is length times width, which actually kind of converts into the circumference, which is 2 pi r, times the height, which is the radius. So you get 2 pi r times r, which is 2 pi r squared. But since it's only half the circumference, it's actually 1/2 that. So 1/2 of 2, we all know, is 1. So that's kind of where pi r squared comes from. So I'm going to go through all the examples with you step by step. I'm hopeful that you have the ability to pause when you need to. So pause it when you need to. I think I'm going to go question by question or example by example, and I'm going to do a stop. So you might notice a little change in between, but I'm going to do an example. I'm going to pause it, example, pause it. You shouldn't notice any difference. It should run continuous for you, but you have the ability to stop it and pause when you feel you need to. Again, you could always ask questions during office hours. Shoot me an email. I can respond to you pretty fast. Well, I'd like to introduce you into something that's maybe quite as old as me. So if you think I'm old, check out my whiteboard. This went to college with me, no joke. So this is a pretty old board. So I'm going to use this to do all the work. So again, you can print off the notes. You can write in them. You could just follow along. And then when you do your try problems, you can just do them on a piece of paper. So I'll leave that up to you, how you want to do your notes. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so let's find the area of a circle with a given radius. So A is a radius. So I'm just going to do, and they told me to use 22/7. So I'll do what they told me, and I'm going to times it by 7 squared. 22/7. I'm going to square 7 and get 49. The nice thing about doing something times 22/7 is because 7 goes into 49. So that goes in once, that goes in 7. So you're going to do 22 times 7, which leads you to the answer of 154 centimeters squared. Sorry, I'm writing sideways, so give me some time to get used to this. Okay. All right, so that's A. I think since we did A, I'm going to jump over to C because C is also a radius. So again, you're going to do, now this one, same thing, they want you to do 22/7 times 21 squared. So 22/7 times the quantity 441. And again, this is a nice way to multiply by 441 because it's got a denominator of 7. 7 goes in there once. 7 goes in there 63 times. So you're left to do 22 times 63. And the product of those two is 1,386 feet squared. Okay, so now we'll go on and we'll do the diameters. So if you recall, when you're given a diameter in this specific formula, you need radius. This isn't like pi d formula. This requires a radius. And I'm not teaching you another formula other than pi r squared for area of a circle. I'm not going to give you one with diameter. Don't worry about it. But I do need my radius. And if you recall, I have to cut my diameter in half, which gives me 13. So here, good old 3.14, square my radius, 3.14 times 169. Their product is 530.66 inches squared. Okay. All right, so last one, you have area equals pi r squared. Radius is 16, so I'm going to do 3.14 times 16 squared. 3.14, 16 squared. I'm sorry, diameter. Oh, geez, look at me. Sorry about that. I forgot. This is a diameter. Yep, I wrote it wrong. Sorry about that. Okay, so got to get the radius, cut it in half, you get 8. So you're going to do 3.14 times 8 squared. So you're going to do 3.14 times 64. Okay, so the product of that should be 200.96 meters squared. So take a look at those. Sorry about that again. That was diameter. I was reading my paper upside down. Okay, in order to get the radius, you have to cut it in half. All right, so example 2, you want to find the distance the monster truck travels when the tires make a 360-degree rotation, which best describes the distance. So I kind of want you to envision the wheel turning, and it's going the distance around, so the answer to that would be C. Okay, example 3A, and I'll do B over here. Okay, an 1893 World's Fair in Chicago boasted the first ever Ferris wheel with a diameter of 250 feet. How far did a person travel in one revolution? So again, that is the distance around the circle. So I'm going to do pi d because I'm given diameter. So I'm going to pop in my 3.14 times 250. My product is 785 feet. Part B, you have a Ferris wheel that has a diameter of 56 feet, but instead of just going around one time, it's going to go 15 times around. Just saying, Ferris wheels are not my most favorite ride. I will ride the tallest and the fastest roller coaster, but Ferris wheels, I don't know why they scare me, but they do. So how far will someone travel on that ride if they go 15 times around? So I'm going to use 22/7 for pi. So I'm going to do pi d because it's a circumference situation. 22/7 times 56. So this works out. 7 goes into 56. 7 goes into 7 once. 7 goes into 56 8 times. 22 times 8 gives me 176 feet. But that's only one way around. So we need to go 15 times because usually when you get on a Ferris wheel, you go a couple different times. It's not like a roller coaster, you just go once through, right? So we're going to do total. So we're going to do this 15 times. And we're going to multiply that by 176. You get 2640 feet. Okay? Okay, example 4, find the area of the semicircle. So it's half of a circle. So this is example 4A. I am going to do area equals pi r squared. However, since it's only half, I'm just going to divide that by 2. So I'm going to do 3.14. So in that diagram, your diameter is 30. Your radius is half that, so it's 15. So I'm going to square my 15. But remember, I have to divide it in 2. If you remember when we did circumference of a semicircle, we had to cut it in half as well. So it's the same idea. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 225. Divide that by 2. The product in my numerator is 706.5. Cut that in half. You get 353.25 feet squared. All right. Okay. So I'm going to come up. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to just slide this over. I'm going to do part B. So we have a semicircle with a given radius. Notice there's no picture. Doesn't matter. I'm going to do A equals pi r squared. Okay. I'm going to do 3.14. Square my 9. But I got to cut it in half. Okay. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 81. Cut that in half. My numerator becomes 254.34. Cut that in half. And I arrive at my answer. And there you go. So that's part B. So there you go. There's part A and part B. Okay, so example 5, find the area of a circle in terms of pi. So this is just an alternate way to write your answer. So I called it the fat answer because pi is usually fattening. So that was my bad joke for the day. I know you missed them. So I'm going to do 2 parts for part A, B, C, and D. So in terms of pi, you still use pi r squared. Okay, but in this one, I'm given the radius of 4, so I'm going to do pi times 4 squared. So you notice pi stays there. I do nothing with it. I just leave it there. So then I get pi times 16. You could leave it like that, but it's nice to have the coefficient come first, and that is in inches squared. Okay? Now your normal answer would really just be 3.14. I guess I can shorten this up and just times it by 16. And then when you do that, you get 50.25 inches squared. So it is possible to do it in terms of pi answer. You just don't multiply by pi. You just leave the symbol in your answer. Okay, so part B, this is different. We're given a diameter. So since the formula is pi r squared, you need radius. So I'm going to take 3.3, and I'm going to cut that in half, and that's going to lead me to 1.65, which is what I'm going to use. So my in terms of pi answer is going to be pi times 1.65, but I'm going to square that. So yeah, you're going to get a decimal, you're going to get a terminating decimal, but it does have a few digits, so 2.7225. So, I mean, you could leave your answer like that. It's probably better, though, to put your coefficient kind of first, okay? And this is in meters squared. So if I wanted to calculate, I guess, the normal, okay, I could just multiply by 3.14, and when I do that, I get 8.54865, and because they want me to round to the nearest tenths, that's how I get that answer right there. So again, so when you're looking at them, you have an in terms of pi answer, and your regular rounded to a specific decimal place. You have, for part B, you have your in terms of pi answer and your answer rounded to a specific place. All right, so for part C, you're given a radius. So I'm going to do A equals pi r squared. So I'm going to do pi, leave it in your answer, and I'm going to square that 15. So I get pi 225, but it would be nice if you put that first. I mean, you don't have to, but anywhere you see this in a book, on a website, they're going to put the number portion first. And then you're going to go and do the, I don't want to say typical answer, but kind of. You're just going to take 3.14 and times it by your 225, and you're going to get 706.5 centimeters squared. Okay, part D, you're given a diameter. So if we're given diameter of 5.5, we have to go and get our radius. So we got to cut that down, cut it by 2, and you get 2.75. So pi r squared, pi, now I got to square the 2.75. So when you square it, you do get, and I'm just going to kind of skip the intermediate step to kind of make this go faster. This is in inches squared. Okay. So again, it's in terms of pi. You're just leaving pi in your answer. I did it over here. I leave pi in my answer. It's just a technique. It's just a way to write your answer. You'll probably use it most often when you get to high school for sure. It's just another way to write your answer. And it's really nice when you're doing like a ratio, because then the pi's would be in the numerator and the denominator and they cancel out. So it's just another way to write your answer. And then the traditional way would be 3.14 times the 7.5625. So when you multiply, you get 23.7465, and that does round to 23.7 inches squared. Okay? All right, last example. So example 6, find the area of the shaded region. I don't know if you can see it, but the whole thing is not shaded, obviously. So we're going to have to do parts. Hopefully you can see that you're going to find multiple areas, and then we just want this part around here. So we're going to find the area of the circle, find the area of the square, and take this part out to get what's here. So I'm going to do area of the circle, pi r squared, 3.14. Now the question is, what is the radius? So if this whole side's 12, from here to here would be 6. So I'm going to square 6. Okay. So 6 squared is 36. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 36. Get 113.04. Then I'm going to do the area of the square. And we know that's going to be 8 times 8. So that's 64. So in order to get just this part, you're going to do, I guess I'll use what's in your notes, area of the shaded. You're going to do 113.04 minus 64. And you're going to get your answer. You're going to get 49.04, which is, and I'm running out of room here, 49.0 centimeters squared for that one. Okay, so again, I found different parts, subtracted the square from the circle to just get the part that's around it. Okay, the next one looks like a donut. Here's the shading. So same idea. I want to find the area of the circles. Okay, and I subtract this out of this, and I just get that part. So we'll say area of the larger, 3.14 times 3 squared. I'm going to times that by 9. I'm going to get 28.26. I'm going to do area of the smaller one. Okay, my pi, 3.14, times, now the radius of this one is 1. So 1 squared is 1, so it's just 3.14. So we're going to do area of shaded. You're going to take 28. Oh, new marker. We're going to take 28.26 minus 3.14. Your difference is 25.12. It said round to the nearest so tenths. So 25.1 inches squared. You got it. Okay, so the last one, I don't know what shapes you see, but can you see the outer rectangle? Okay, and you see this part's all the shaded part. So this is a semicircle, and then this whole thing's a rectangle. So I'm going to do area of the rectangle. That's 12 times 18, which that's 216. So that's the whole thing. So we're going to do area of the semicircle, which, and I'm going to write this formula just so that we could re-emphasize that it's pi r squared cut in half. So the radius is 6. So 3.14 times 6 squared, cut that in half. 3.14 times 36, cut that in half. Hopefully you can see that far down the board. So it's 113.04, cut in half. I'm running out of room here. So that cut in half is 56.52. Okay, so that is just, so 56.52 is just here. So if I have the total, which is the whole thing, and I take out this section, I'll get what's in blue. So we'll come up here. Area of shaded is the larger minus the smaller. Okay, and you should get 159.5 units squared on that one. So I'll give you a second to look at that. So the idea is you find two areas and you use subtraction to find the shaded part. All right, that's it for these notes. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll catch you next time, either at an office hour or next lesson. Take care of yourself, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.